Hello everyone and welcome back to Warriors Craft. This is episode 2 and my goal this episode is to catch you up to present day. It's not going to happen this episode, but I am going to catch you guys up to where I start using actual audio. So basically what's going on here, I'm visiting Mini Schmack at the chunk. It's it's not going very well. So basically he started mining out an entire chunk cuz why not? And it really it's really something actually. He he really kind of left it behind at a certain point. If he had continued to mine out the chunk, I probably wouldn't have died as much as I did, but hey, you know, whatever. So basically, Mini Schmack's been helping me out since I became king, which I already have the supplies the king gets: the king's hoe, the king's helm, and the king's sword. And the king also gets a secondary helm to give to the chosen person who's like their second in command. Well, I gave it to Mini Schmack because he was the only person at the time willing to help me with anything, basically. So yeah, he's wearing the other netherite helm. And I spent a lot of time in between videos mining for diamonds because why not? I mean, it's like I'm spending this much time doing things. I might as well be doing something. So, I've got basically full diamond armor. I'm kind of kitted out at the current moment, but it's gonna change pretty quickly. Not yet, but it's gonna change. So this may be an hour-long video now that I'm realizing it. Yep. Okay. Anyways, so basically, Mini Schmack is just doing his thing. I'm doing my thing, trying to get enough emeralds to trade with villagers, and it's working out pretty well. We have these taiga trees because we see that they give the most wood, but it is so annoying to just make a staircase up, then go down. It is really hard to see anything of what's happening. I'm running around the village. I tamed my horse. I am taking him somewhere. I don't know why. Okay, whatever. I don't know what I am doing. Okay, so alright, trading with villagers, back to zombies, trading with villagers, back to zombies. If anyone understands anything, just let me know. So I just started digging out the trading hall like a while ago. It was kind of like my project. Well, it's a project, just like any other. So, you can obviously see how that went. Cool. So basically I'm hanging out in the villager trading hall, doing things, messing around, trying to max out the villager trading hall as best I can. And I still use this trading hall to this day. So, it's a good... I don't know why I'm trying to drown the baby villagers here, but I am. So yeah, I get back to work at the trading hall, start trading with Fletchers and putting barrels, and yeah, I just do a whole bunch of stuff. And it's working out pretty well. I've gotten most of what I need. So, I'm harvesting sugarcane because I usually trade for paper. However, I didn't on this server very much. I may do it occasionally, but I need more paper for rockets, and I basically used all the paper I had in any chest for rockets. So, yeah. Continue mining more wood and start trading for books, which I believe I had just gotten. Yeah. And this was my first set of basically maxed out gear. And Mini Schmack joined again. I think this has been like an hour or so since he left, so I'm just doing the same thing. Just trading with villagers, and whew, it's a lot, honestly. I did this quite frequently. We also started like a humongous pumpkin farm, and that got us a couple emeralds, but it didn't give us that many because we only had like 3 villagers trading for pumpkins, and we had way more villagers trading for sticks. So it was just like, you'll make more out of sticks than you would out of pumpkins. I started naming my tools, which I regret, honestly. I knew. So this is around the time where I figured out that the Mafia changed its course. The Mafia is no longer chasing after only Mini Schmack, it's chasing after me and Mini Schmack. So I was afraid at first, you know. I didn't know how that would end, but in the end, it ended the way I thought it would end. Honestly, yeah, I can't spoil anything now, but I can say it basically ended the way I thought it would end. So I'm running around doing things with Mini Schmack, as I do, because he's my teammate at this time. Also, I didn't show you guys the base, I don't think. I may have, but the redstone is completely my own. I spent a while building redstone contraptions in this server, and it worked pretty well, honestly. Nobody found my base for a while. Nobody found my hidden barrels for 5 minutes. Light the Fire was just way too curious, I guess. And here he is, he just joins the server. Light the Fire found the lever that I used to basically open the barrels. And so we're harvesting all this skulk for XP. We found this mine, we've started harvesting it, and we just kind of, you know, we did that. We just sat here doing this for a while. I needed to enchant some things. Mini Schmack did too. So we just both kind of decided to head to the nearest mountain, hope for a deep dark, and, well, we found one. Light the Fire eventually joined us because he lived nearby. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, Light the Fire eventually joined us, and he eventually was the reason who... he was the person who spawned the Warden, so if he hadn't joined us, we probably wouldn't have left as soon as we did. So I continued to get up to 30 levels, enchant things, and it was working out really well. Honestly, I was doing my thing. My King's Hoe came in like enormous help because it had fortune, but it also had mending, so I didn't have to worry about it breaking. So every once in a while, I would lose an XP orb, but in the end, I gained more than I needed. So we eventually just left. We were kind of summoning wardens, and everyone just wanted to get out of there, so we just got out of there. And yeah, so I sat here AFK for I don't know how long. I just left to do laundry. And then riding my horse back to my base was frustrating because of all the ravines that were nearby. Riding through villages and everything was fine. I just hated the ravines. So we get back to the base and I go AFK again. And then Mini Schmack's back and he's doing his own thing. And I think the other person on the server is Light the Fire, if I'm not mistaken. Either that or Sea Lion. It could have been both, honestly. Yeah, so we started trying to use slash message, but it didn't work. Slash message wasn't working. And Mando joined as soon as Mini Schmack left, so I kinda AFK'd for a little bit. I asked him to turn on slash message, and yeah, I'm just AFK here in this tree for a little bit. I was now, like, fully immersed in nothing. You know, my ADHD would just take over, and I would just do whatever come to mind at the time. And, well, you know, it kind of It worked for a while, honestly. It was... And I hid my armor away in a little stash behind a wall. I started getting fancy with like covering it up with redstone and things, but people would always find the levers, so it was kind of worthless, honestly. Yeah, I just realized there's probably like an easier way to do that, but who cares? Also, I get stuck in the nether. I don't want to be in the nether. So Minishmack, I come DMing Minishmack, and I just go, dude, I need help, I'm stuck in the nether, dude. And he eventually got on, and he eventually came to help me. But I was doing this to kind of like locate Fortress and, you know, do that thing, and I AFK in the nether for a while before he shows up eventually. I just looking for a fortress of any caliber, and I burned to death. I think I can go back. How'd I burn to death, actually? How did I burn to death? I don't know. I lost it. Oh well. I have to slow it down for this moment. Yeah, it glitched out and stopped placing the blocks. Anyways, so I went back, I made iron armor, and me and Minishmack just headed to the nether, hoping we could... I think I got that stuff back eventually. I don't know. Oh well. So I basically just did what I did, and I started running through the nether, trying to find a fortress. And we got lost. We did not know which way we went. So I just jumped in a pot of lava because I had no recollection of how to get back, and I remade iron tools to once again do absolutely nothing but trade with villagers. So yeah, that was the day 2 of the server being up, day 3 of the server being up. I don't know. Yep. I thought it was. It's literally like end of the day for me here. Oh, yep, and there's the end of the day. Day 2, I log back on. And I continue mining down. I think I'm looking for an ancient city, actually. Oh, and that's the end of day 1. Okay, now it's time for day 2. This one's gonna be fun. So I found the ancient city, actually, in between episodes. And I dive straight into it. But Minishmack told me he was on his way. And I said, alright, man. So I waited for him until I went any further. So yeah, we start mining out this ancient city's tunnel. And eventually he gets to my base, or whatever I set up. Base camp or whatever. Yeah, so I spent a while looking for beds, or not beds, wool. I spent a while looking for sheep and shearing sheep. Minishmack eventually landed on the island, and we headed up and went down into the cave. And he told me, why would I hide it in cobblestone? Whatever. So, yeah, we just went down, we started looting, and we got a lot of loot here, actually. I think I'm about out of armor, though, from here. So I need to get back into looting things. Oh, we also got skeleton skulls, which was something we've been looking for forever. Because you can be off the locator bar without having the carved pumpkin GUI. So that's why we wanted to do that. So yeah, we just got a lot of XP and we got a lot of things, honestly. It was quite a lot. And we did this around like a day or two, honestly. We were here for a while, trying to loot as much as we could and doing the best we could to not summon a warden. Mini Schmack summoned the warden. Yeah, so this is just kind of us hanging out and doing absolutely everything we can in this ancient city before we left. So I marked down the cords, very importantly, because I was hoping I could use this as kind of like a runaway spot. But in a future episode, you'll see why I couldn't. But yeah, I stayed here like much longer than Mini Schmack, trying to just XP mine. That was like all I was doing. I was like looting everything, XP mining everything, and eventually we summoned a warden and we just kind of like ran around and hid. You know, that's kind of what you do when you summon a warden. So, and it took a while for me to find the entrance, actually, because we never actually marked it. Like, there was no markings on the entrance. So I just sprint around and look for the entrance until I found it. Yeah, that's an unhealthy thing that just, yeah, it's not a good idea. So I go back to mining experience after the warden had despawned, so I could just do everything, basically. I was looking to enchant some more armor, and I was also looking to have an inventory full of Skulk, because I wanted to take some of the XP back to the base. In the end, it only lasted me about a day. I was doing some XP grinding, and, well, it only lasted me about a day. Luckily, I have a much more efficient way of getting XP now, which you guys will probably never see because it's so boring when I'm there. But I do have a mob farm, thanks to Light the Fire, at modern present day. I don't yet in this clip, but I do present day. So yeah, I spent all of this XP mining. Honestly, I don't think you guys need to see the rest. You get the point. You get the picture. I spent the entire day XP mining. So, moving on to clip number 4. If it'll load. Hold on. Alrighty then. Clip number 3. Clip number 3. So, I'm running around the village looting. I was lost at the current... Oh, wait, no, I wasn't lost. I had found Mando's base. Yeah, we'd found the Mafia base. And we were actually looking around looting. I made Mini Schmack promise not to do anything at all, so he couldn't find us. But somehow... You'll see in a future clip, actually. Somehow. So, yeah, we were just running around doing things. He had a really nice base at the time. Like, I didn't want to mess with anything. I wanted peace on the server, like, the entire time I played the server. Mini Schmack, on the other hand, didn't, but, you know. Whatevs. Yeah, that's that. You know, I just kind of sat here, doing absolutely everything in my power not to mess with his base. And we also visited the arena for the first time. It's just kind of like a glance away, but we visited the arena. We worked out things. And yeah, that's... This was the 3rd, January 3rd, and it's currently January 22nd. So I've got a lot of time I need to make up for catching you guys up. So yeah, we just started killing mobs and we had no goals here. So yeah, I don't know what we're doing here, honestly. I'd made a shop. It was supposed to be a diner and a pawn shop, but it didn't work out. So Spawn looks really nice. You know, I felt like Spawn was just the nicest place. And even though I like cubic designs, my base really didn't do much to Spawn at the current point in time. You know, I was not messing with Spawn that much, I guess. Oh, it's horrendous now. But yeah, so I just kind of ran to a village, and I think me and Minishmack trapped a couple villagers just in case we ran into an issue or whatever. And then we started. He drank an ominous bottle to start a raid. So we did a raid. This was our first raid, and this was when we realized that in easy mode, which the server was at the current moment, you don't get totems. In fact, you don't even get evokers in easy mode. So we asked Mando to quickly change the server, and he eventually did, and now we have like glory totems, like just a whole bunch of totems. So yeah, that's that. And we were also trying to get more mob heads because we were worried we would die with them, and so I was setting up contraptions and things with lightning rods and charged creepers to try and get mob heads. Well, it was not going the way I'd pictured. They'd always blow up before they'd get in any hole, so it was never, it wouldn't work. I was honestly so peeved. All the mobs I tried capturing just ran away. And to this very day, I have not been able to capture any creepers and charge them. I did once. Once. On this server, I did it, and I only got 3 mob heads out of it. I think this was successful eventually, though. Yeah, it was successful eventually. I got, like, 1 creeper head. But, you know, it was like, whatever. You know, it's... So we started another raid, hoping that the evoker thing wasn't true, and that we could maybe start a higher tier raid for an evoker. It was not true. We could not start a higher tier raid for an evoker. We tried. We failed. Miserably, I might add. So, basically, Mando's been searching for me on the server for, like, forever. I don't know why the frame's glitching. Is this a computer thing, or is it... Yeah, it's a computer thing. Thought so. Wow, that's a lot of clips. Hold on. I'm gonna attempt to fit as much audio in as possible, but not for these first few episodes. It's I'm doing narratives for like everything mostly. I think I will fit in a couple, and Purge Day is going to be all audio. No, well, I may have to cut a few things out, but it'll be no voiceover. I will record all live audio for Purge Day. So, hope you guys are excited for that. I will make sure everyone knows that's what's happening. Okay. So, basically we just ran around doing raids for a bit, trying to get as many totems as possible, which was not possible. And we just did this over and over and over again. Like, it got annoying, honestly. And I miss the King's Blade. I miss it. Anyways. So, basically, we just ran back home. Because, why not? I mean, we had nothing else to do. And at the current moment, this was the best option. We had Hero of the Village, so we could get cheaper mending and unbreaking books, which I was thrilled with. Don't get me wrong, I was awesome. Like it was amazing to me that we could. I don't think at all I don't think that anything really... Yeah, I gotta import this. Yeah, okay. So basically just led us to doing absolutely nothing. Um we we got the villager trades all worked out, so yeah, that was the end of that day. I just traded with some things and that was it. That was the end of the day. So I'm now setting up my new base. My new base. I was just kind of sick of hiding in a hole in the ground, so I was setting up my new base. I was ready. Is this after? No, it's before. It's before. Yeah, okay. I was sick of setting up my new base, and Mando and Light the Fire were on the server, so I was gonna investigate. I was gonna investigate what they were doing, because we were all in a call together. But it seemed as though they were plotting something. So I kind of talked to Minishmack. I got Ender Pearls, and I was about to get ready to head to their base. I was ready to, investigate. But we made a pit stop at the village, and I started doing things. But I ran to their base. I think. I don't... Possibly. I just like... What's going through my head at the current moment is... Okay, so I think I ran to their base. I think. No, I ran back to my base. No, I ran to their base. Okay. Finally. Sheesh. So yeah, I ran to their base. And then I ran back. My goodness, I just don't know how this works anymore. Okay, so yeah, that's how that works, I guess. I don't know. Okay, yes. Now I'm running to their base. I'm about to pop invisibility because I don't want them to see me. And I just did it. I just ran in and I went in the hole, expecting nothing more than what happened earlier, days before. And so I sat here for a little bit doing things, and then I went down. And I fell in lava, lost absolutely everything. I was freaking out, so I started DMing Minishmack so they couldn't hear me complaining to him. And I told him, dude, I lost everything. And he's like, dude, I'm about to eliminate them. So we were both heading to their base at this moment. We were plotting nothing. Well, I was not in on whatever Minishmack was planning. I was just about to go talk to them to see if I could get my king stuff back, because it's netherite. Well, it despawned. Of course. So yeah, I had nothing. I'm broke as can be again. Like, I have absolutely nothing. And I was worried, but they were taunting, and they were like, it worked, and well, I was about to eliminate them. Actually, let me turn on in-game audio. So I just checked, there's no in-game audio. Lucky me, I guess.
Hold on, this is not fit for...
Oh well.
Hold 1 second.
Yeah. must have forgot to turn on my audio.
No, you guys get
So
that.
I just fell in lava again, and now I don't
it's
know
enough.
what I'm doing. I don't know what to do at the moment. He popped fire resistance for the both of us.
Ready about that.
We went in guns blazing.
Oh, that was.
I popped a notch apple,
No.
and he eliminated them both. I got some armor, and we were just kind of set at the point. They'd moved everything though.
Gold armor to go to
They'd
the
moved everything out of their
Okay,
I
so
wasn't
now that I
online,
don't
was I?
have
tunnel system, or out of their
we're just
base.
at my base.
They moved everything out of their tunnel system, and they
I'm not
were
sleeping.
gone. I found Sea Lion's base, which I was looking for pretty long on the server. Like, I spent a while looking for this,
I
and
don't know, I
that
actually
was
considering you just assassinated
the
Vulcan for no
most
reason.
annoying death of the server for me, because I had no idea what was happening.
Why?
I had zero clue what was happening.
It's basically an alliance with an
That's
A.
like me. That's like
So
me.
yeah, in the end,
Your team.
we had ourselves a wee bit of a chat. We were talking and talking and talking and talking and talking, and I was chasing him down, and he started placing cobwebs, and it was just like, it was a whole thing. He built a pillar of deep slate and everything. It was so annoying, honestly. But in the end, I got up to the pillar. He had made an M, or well, eventually he made an M. I don't know, it was just a pillar at the current moment, but the Mafia reigns supreme, he says, just constantly, just, well, the Mafia, yeah, it kind of still reigns supreme, honestly. The server has not changed. So everyone left the server, and, like, I was all alone now. I was just, I had nothing except for the things I got from Mando. So I went back to the multiple chunks I was digging out from my base, and that's where I hid for ever. I hid there. And I said, Mando's armor is now my armor. Yep, and that's the end of clip number 4. Yep, that's the end of clip number 4. Alright, so I am going to leave the rest to in-game audio. Alright, so basically, I don't have any actual audio, sadly. I'm gonna describe what's happening. So, me and Mindo are going back and forth, talking about disbanding the Mafia. He refuses constantly. And we are kind of stuck in a war. Basically, a war I did not want at all. A war that I was trying to avoid. So I tried talking him into peace and, tranquility with each other, but it never worked. It was kind of my doing, but it was also his doing. So, yeah, I didn't know what to believe. And then, light the fire, he's just thinking over on his chair. And I'm just trying to negotiate with Mando to find terms we could both agree with, and it's not ending very well. Light Fire takes a hole, and he says it's trust exercise, so everyone goes in. So I tell Light the Fire to go in. He says no. I say King's last. He continues to say no, and he starts dumping lava on everyone. And he literally one-hit kills me. And we were in spawn, and that's against the rules. So I just brought my good armor, my trident, and my ender pearls. And I was ready to beat this guy. I was ready to just take him down. But Mini Schmack kind of beat me to the punch, honestly. He was already dealing with both of them. So, in the end, Light the Fire killed and spawned. He had to be punished for that, breaking that rule. And we got their stuff. Like, everything they had that wasn't really... He did ender chest a lot of it, but everything they had that wasn't e-chested was eventually given back to me. Which wasn't much, honestly. It was kind of shameful. So me and Mando continued to talk about peace. I went back to building my base after he left, and that's it. It's everything. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. If you have, be sure to hit that like button down below, hit that subscribe button if you're new around here, and I will talk to you guys later. Good.